How's it going, guys? It's Nutshell here, and today we have the hardest Tarkov PvE challenge that has ever come into the game, and we're going to cover exactly what you need to know about this event and essentially what it's all about with some gameplay as well to show you exactly what this event is all about in game as well. So without further ado, there is a brand new event quest line, or at least a quest that is called Hustle. Now, Hustle is essentially a challenge in which every single one of the bosses spawn in the health resort on Shoreline. And that means that absolutely everyone is there. And so with that being said, it means that you are going to have an absolute nightmare if you have any tasks that are in and around Shoreline's health resort the next week, or maybe it's even just a weekend event. Not entirely sure as of right now, but I'm sure it will get cleared up. I would expect that this is just a weekend long event, and essentially the task is that you have to kill every single one of the bosses on Shoreline. So far we've managed to take out 2 of them, although I have attempted it twice. First time was where we took out both Shoreline and Caban, and then the second time just got one pumped in the face by Big Pipe as we were moving into the resort, which was brilliant. But with that being said, it is a really tough challenge and probably the hardest challenge you can do right now in PvE Tarkov. And essentially, you're going to have to take a very slow approach if you're going to try and make it all the way up into the health resort itself. You have a variety of different ones that are actually roaming just outside the resort. I found that Sturmum aggroed me before I'd even made it to the resort and ended up YOLOing down into the kind of area below the resort, and then kind of was just pumping me from the tree lines, and it was an absolute nightmare to try and find out where he was. Eventually we did take him out though, obviously because I'm an elite PvE player that I managed to not bring in a Kalok, which means we had to burn pretty much the entire Salewa to be able to stop the heavy bleeds, which was, yeah, definitely not what you want when you're fighting some of the bosses. And with that being said, we did manage to take out 2 of them, and then eventually being taken out by Knight, which was another one of the goons. The goons are probably the most annoying on this because they do just YOLO you, and so you want to make sure that you try and take those out if possible at the beginning, because they are going to be an absolute nightmare to deal with later on, as you know, you end up taking damage throughout the entire raid. But obviously one of the key ways to kind of counteract some of this is making sure that you do bring in some stims and propitol, things that are going to heal you over time. Really easy, you just pop it and then you start healing over time. So one of the best things that you can do to at least regen some of your health during that time. And you basically want to have enough of these, so you'd probably want a couple of them to be able to actually regen over time throughout the entire thing. There is going to be a lot of death, I will not lie. If you try and attempt this or have a go at it, you will be finding that you die a hell of a lot, because, I mean, about 11 bosses within this in about 250 meters squared is never good. But obviously making sure you got enough stims and stuff like that is going to really help you out. So bringing in multiple propitol, that sort of stuff, just to keep you stim throughout the entire raid is really going to help out. In terms of being able to extract, if you've killed a couple of the bosses and you don't want to push in and kill any more, making sure you have your paracord and the Red Rebel to take the Red Rebel extract. Highly recommend taking in some chatted armor. Basically, if you go in with no armor, you're going to get pumped so easily. So at least having level 4, if not level 5 and 6 plates in whatever rig you do take. I'm taking in AVSs and stuff like that at the moment, just because of the fact that, yeah, I can use the Red Rebel extract if we do decide to actually leave. We did manage to get a couple of items off of some of the bosses, but nothing substantial. We definitely didn't get any of the super high expensive key cards, that sort of stuff. And often you're probably going to lose money because most of the time you're not going to be able to get to the actual bodies without having to kill loads more of the bosses. Now, granted, if you're an expert PvE and PvP player, it's going to be absolutely fine for you, but yeah, you want to make sure that you aren't just YOLOing in or thinking that there isn't anyone on the health resort. But with that being said, obviously making sure you got enough health regens in the form of these injectors, so making sure you've got those, propitols, that sort of thing, bringing in enough Salewers. I'd actually recommend potentially even having 2, because some of the bosses don't particularly have the best healing meds, so maybe taking 2 Salewers and bringing in some extra kind of ways of actually dealing with some of them, making sure you're popping your ibuprofen before any potential fights that you might be having. Definitely bring in a ton of nades. I literally on the first one brought in about 5 or 6 nades. Now, nades at the moment are being super basically extorted. I mean, if you see here, they're up at 30k for a couple of nades. Obviously, as part of the event, you want to make sure that you are crafting some of these if possible, because they're going to go crazy prices in your hideout. So making sure that you do focus on trying to do that is going to save you a bit of money in costs. Now, I'm going to try and do a full breakdown of some of the stuff later on in the weekend. So hopefully tomorrow we'll be out with some content featuring around bringing in some cheaper gear and trying to make it work. Things like a shotgun with piranha or potentially flechette ammo, and seeing how well we can do with that. If we can YOLO into the building somehow without dying, and then just pumping people at close range, probably going for the leg shots on some of the bosses, and yeah, can hopefully take out the rest of the bosses tomorrow, if not in the evening today. So with that being said, that is pretty much the event. It is a super simple, quick video that I wanted to make just to inform you guys of some of the things that you need to know, and of course give you a bit of gameplay as to what it actually looks like when you do spawn into the game and try it yourself on Shoreline. So just be aware, load time's probably going to go crazy when people realize about this event, so just bear with the servers, I expect, all being shoved onto Shoreline. But it is a really cool event, and of course the rewards from the event are actually crazy. You get all of the health resort keys, which are going to be worth so much, although they're going to tank now with the release of this new event. Of course, you get a sick organizational pouch, which is really good and worth about 6.5 mil. Before this event, this may go down with the event actually coming out. You're getting 0.15 Jaeger rep alongside 50k XP. So yeah, just be aware of it. Make sure that you aren't going into Shoreline not knowing about this event. And if you have got any Shoreline tasks, I recommend avoiding all of them until this event is complete, unless you're an absolute madman and feel like YOLOing into the health resort. But with that being said, hopefully you enjoyed this video. Make sure to like and subscribe if you want to see more Tarkov PvE content, which will be featuring on the channel in the next coming months. Hoping to at least do 1 or 2 videos every single day, if not more. And yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this one, and I will catch you in the next one. Have a great rest of the day and a great weekend if I don't see you again. Goodbye.